A few of these are more fragile than others,
Right.
and I'll show you what I mean by that. But some of them are actually pretty good condition. So here's the control. This is the control folder. So this gives us some background. But these are images of him. These are immediate post-war, probably 1866, 67. That's a pre-Civil War image of him.
Wow.
That came with the collection. We've got these transcribed. If I could email you the transcriptions of the diaries, and you could share them with whoever you want from one. I wouldn't probably send them to everybody, but I can send them to one person.
Right.
You can send them out if you guys have. So here is volume 1, and this is the original. And this one doesn't have its boards or paper wraps. I don't know what it originally, so the cover's missing on that. But that's June 8th, 1861, Alexander S. Paxton's book. June 8th, 61, devoted to a brief history of the adventures, movements, etc. of the Liberty Hall volunteers during the War of Southern Independence and of resistance to Northern despotism. And Pro Eris et Faucis, which was the motto of their unit. And he was a member of the college company here, if you're aware of that.
Liberty Hall.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I brought these. This is the original biography of their unit, and this is actually our copy, but you can buy the paperback copy of this. This is one of the later editions where I actually helped him compile photographs for the updated. The original didn't have any images in it. But this
So
one-
you worked on the pictures, huh?
I helped out, helped him
I've
locate
read
the
photographs
books.
3 times.
Oh, have you?
And that's
Oh,
where it led me on all these different places.
Oh, really?
around.
Oh, good. Well, so this is the first one, and this one he writes sort of a narrative form. Let's see. It's interesting too. He says this book is strictly private. I trust to the honor of any of who may come to pick it up. Alex S. Paxton. But when you read this thing, you know he's writing it. He's definitely writing it for someone to read it down the road.
Hopefully,
Yeah, I think so. So anyway, this more or less takes you from the beginning, the outset.
That's his handwriting.
Yeah,
Wow.
through. I guess it's through into the middle of the fall of 1861. So the core of this is how they got to First Manassas, and then the results of that. And then there's some real moving stuff in this one specifically about the battle, the loss of some of his comrades, and the burial of some of his
He was
comrades.
a moving writer too. Have you
Yeah,
read
yeah.
Memory Days?
Yeah, it's a
That's-
good,
it's a
it's
good
it's
book.
a great piece. And I'll tell you, everything here, all these diaries are in the same style or tone, where there's humor, there's gut wrenching, hair raising, he does a great
Just a
job.
pretty good writer.
This is the second one. This one picks up, let's see, September 61. Now this one's written more in diary form, where he might reminisce same day, or it might be a week. He'll reminisce and catch you up on the last week of his business.
Now, I'm standing here looking at this,
Uh-huh.
and I want to ask you immediately, what is the process that you have to do to be able to read that? Because it's not easy.
Just a lot of experience reading old handwriting. And I actually transcribed, let's see, there's 6 volumes. I did through 4 of the transcriptions. We had one person, a gentleman who's in the Army, who lives in South Carolina, and he's a researcher on the 4th Virginia Stonewall Brigade.
Mhm.
He did one of them. He took photographs and transcribed it from He took it home, took the photographs home and transcribed it. And then he sent that to me, and I checked his work and then added to it. This is actually, and this one's right here is really neat. So you remember you've read the book. So James Jones White was their first. Let me read you what that first little caption. The inside cover here and pencil. I shouldn't be touching really with the pencil smudges. We use, by the way, we generally don't use gloves for paper-based material because it's harder for us to feel the page. I do wash my hand. I washed my hands a little while ago. So when we're handling these things, we'll keep our hands clean. At the same time, this is what is. It's susceptible. This pencil can rub away, so I have to be careful about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, and that's already faded as we found it. But right here, and this is September 8, 61, he writes, Our old captain, J.J. White, left this morning. A few days before this, he made a short speech to the company he had taken so much interest in and loved so well. He advised us to keep up our organization, as well as preserve in unsullied purity the fair fame of our old alma mater here. This morning, he made no remarks whatever, but all he said was farewell, gave us each a cordial grasp of the hand, whilst tears, telling more than words, filled his eyes. He was one of our best, and then it fades out, and you can't read that last line. It says one of our best, and it's just really hard to see. But anyway, that's not in any of the books. I mean, they talk about him leaving, but this is the first time I've ever read the moment he left. You know, he's got a first-hand account of that moment, so that's sort of neat. But anyway, a little guy, and he also, another thing that's neat about these, he bound these himself. So this is, if you look at, and this actually has drawing of a camp. It's got a map of a camp that's fully identified. Actually, battlefield of Manassas. It's hard to,
Yeah, it's
if you want
fine.
to take a picture up here, you can see he's got a map of the battlefield. This one, November 2nd, 61.
I really can't even see it. It's so faded, yeah.
Look at this. So, and I don't know, no researcher's gotten his hands on this yet, but this is a map of Camp Harmon. And it shows where all the guys, all the different units are camped in relation. He's got a, and it's really, that's a really special thing there too. So aside from all the verbiage and language, these little maps and these little extra things.
He was truly a masterful writer. I mean, I appreciate that right away.
Yeah, there's volume 4. So this one picks up November 61 and runs into 62. This is the Romney campaign. And so he has, most of this is on the Romney campaign itself, which was brutal. That, you know, that took place in Jackson's Romney campaign when he marched them through snow, sleet, hail, and really rough conditions. And there was a lot of detail about that. Again, all of these are yet to be published. Volume 5.
Where was this found, do you know?
This actually, it was sold, went to auction, family members in Texas. So I don't know if you know any distant Paxtons. I think they might have been, what was his wife's maiden name was Tapscott. His second wife, I think, was a Tapscott. It might have been in his wife's family who, when he died, I can't remember exactly who, but anyway, it came through auction in Cincinnati, Ohio.
It's kind of
and
odd
we
too,
purchased it.
because Dad's grandfather married a wife from Texas. So it's just kind of weird how all this comes back around a generation later.
I'll show you, again, sort of neat. So these guys, people don't realize how much time they spent in camp. They spent a lot of time in camp with not a whole lot to do. But so he had leather that he might have removed from another book, cut it down, sewed these boards, and he cut this paper. These are actual order forms that he cut down. You can see the printed, this is lined paper that he cut to size from, they would have had stacks of order forms unused, and he cut it down to make the pages for the book, and then he bound it all together, and he even had a tie off for it. Which is really sort of neat as well. So he could tie it up.
And what was really cool with him too is he lived to fulfill his destiny. He became the principal of a boys' academy in Statesville, North Carolina.
And then the last one is the most ravaged by time, but this is neat. He in the last volume, there's a section here where he writes down his dreams. He kept a dream journal for about a month, and they're you know, as dreams are, they're all over the place. But it's really unusual that there are not too many examples of Civil War period dream journals. And we've had at least one professor, I think he was at Christopher Newport University, which is down in Eastern Virginia. He came. I specifically sent him a transcription of that. Has just written a book on dream journals during the Civil War. And so that's way outside of the ordinary too for this sort of thing. This one's completely disbound, and sort of the pages are completely, well, not totally loose, but some of them are totally loose. And this is where 64 till the very end, And it bounces around. At this point, he was in the commissary department, and was not, and then he joins the troops again, I guess, during the Lynchburg campaign, when he's with Jubal Early, and there's some great, that's in the summer of 1864. But yeah, it's good stuff.
Well, I don't remember, was he the one who was on the packet boat, Marshall? That-
Yeah, I think he, in here, I think in this 63, well, we can see if we can find it here. This one. Let's see here.
I just read it, actually, I think it's in that book, or, no, where did I find that? Yeah, I think it is in that book. It's the caption of a picture.
Yeah, and that particular page, he's wounded, and so he comes home. Yeah, this is it here. Let me find the date. Correlating. The battle. Yeah, so here's his battle of Chancellorsville, where he talks about. Read the transcription.
That would be cool to get. I mean, the
Yeah, if you guys
transcription of all
want
these.
copies of these, you know, it's great reading, as you know. If you like the other one, you'll love
And then
this.
you could just email it to us.
Absolutely.
Awesome. More reading.
I was wondering, do you know how, with the story surrounding General Paxton being buried at Guinea Station briefly? And Mrs. Jackson getting him,
Disinterred and brought back.
yeah.
I can't remember was he on the boat too?
That's what I'm trying to figure
Yeah,
out.
I think he was.
Yeah,
think they
I
did
would
come
imagine
with,
he
with
would.
Jackson. You know, and we've got his, I don't know whether we have the originals. Well, we've got a collection.
I think I heard that Bill, the actor, has a lot of his original paperwork, and he studies it to do, like, he studied it to do Hatfields and McCoys.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and he
You know,
said
he was
that.
just here.
Yeah.
Did you know?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Bill he was supposed to come to Special Collections and didn't make it. His next, he's for the History Channel is doing a 6-part miniseries on the early years of Texas, and he's portraying Sam Houston, who's also, you know, Sam Houston was born here in Rockbridge County.
His mother was a Paxton.
That's right. And so Bill Paxton was here 2.5 weeks ago. He spent I think 2 days here, a day and a half.
Wow, we just missed him.
Yeah, and he was supposed to come to Special Collections. We actually did a bunch of research for him, and he you know how it goes. I guess those guys, they get caught up and they miss deadlines and dates.
Deadlines.
Yeah, these Hollywood
We'll
people.
take the research.
He can call me if he wants it.
No, I'm talking about the one that they did for him.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
can call me
yeah.
if he wants it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Let's see. What is this here? I'm pretty sure.
I thought that he had to be on that Paxton had to be on the packet boat.
Yeah, here it is. It says, so Richmond about dusk. So he's wounded, at home June 26. See the hospital at the barn. Okay, yeah, so he's at home when he's writing this. So he's reminiscing now of the last couple of weeks. He started at Hamilton's Cross. Friday night we camped in an open field, slept in wagons. My wagon had no cover on it. It rained on us that night, or rained that night on us. Had tall time. Yet that night as I lay in the hard old wagon in the rain, I slept. And as I slept, I had one of the most delightful dreams I ever experienced. And then he goes on, got to that'd be Hamilton's Crossing. The next day about 2 o'clock, getting on the train to go to Richmond about dusk. As soon as train got there, it was filled and surrounded by ladies bringing the wounded something to eat. We were almost starved. I never ate so much in my life at our meal. Had some lady given me all, I'd be ashamed. I did not go to the hospital, but to the house of cousin John McClure, stayed there till Monday. When got on packet boat, Edmonds and I stuck out for home. Heard of General Jackson's death on Sunday evening in that'd be Richmond. And it seemed that everyone had lost a friend. The Army had indeed lost a friend, the Confederacy a friend, and freedom one of her ablest advocates. Got to Lynchburg on morning of the 13th, laid over there until evening for General Jackson's body to come on off the orange train. He came in about dusk. The people of Lynchburg gave the last remains of the old hero an appropriate reception. Got home next morning about 9 a.m. They had only heard the day before of my being wounded. So I don't know, he doesn't say exactly that he was on it, but I thought he read that he was.
I did
think
too.
it's in that book there. The Army is now over in Pennsylvania and Maryland. Wish I was there too. I'd make the old Pennsylvania Dutch roll up their eyes.
We all kind of got the little attitude, don't we?
Yeah, so.
That's amazing, this all came full circle.
Yeah, well,
Sure is.
we had to work hard for this we bought this. We had, I think 2 or 3 of W&L's alumni and a couple of guys who have big Civil War interest. But I think there were 12 of us total. And I was involved too, but we all purchased it. And this material, the cost I think was $25,000 for these. And they were in a big auction house in Cincinnati. So we've had them for a couple of years now, and I got them transcribed. But this is certainly the rightful home. This is that little photograph, just to give you an idea of that. I've got it blown up. This is really a tiny little thing. It's only that big.
Oh, look at
So that's
that.
if you all carefully want to it is a 10 type, so it's not going to break. It does have a glass cover, but the image itself wouldn't break. But that's a cased, it's called a cased 10 type photograph. Probably about 18, I bet that's taken in 1858 or 59, just before, maybe when we was a student.
There you go, so get rid of it. Now, the other thing that I haven't actually been able to figure out, is there anywhere where he refers to his connection to Elisha Franklin's family? As far as how they're related?
I'm pretty sure he is, I think his dad and Paxton were first cousins. The other thing, I can show you where he lived here on the map too. We've got a period map. Let me take this little guy.
That is pretty.
And we've got a lot more material. We don't have a lot of time. Not just
Right.
Paxton centric, but we have a lot of Liberty. We have a collection of photographs of all the original, all the images that are in this book. This is pretty neat, and I had never paid any attention to this before. So headquarters, 4th Infantry, camp near Manassas, August 1st, 1861. General, in obedience to your circular, office date, let's see, I can't even read that. The following list of killed and wounded missing in the 4th Regiment of Virginia Volunteers in the action of the 21st of July, with the name, rank, and company of each officer and man. So killed, you have company, and here's A, B, C, D, F, H, I. So I guess it's a Charlie Bell, William Paxton, William L. Paxton, Benjamin Bradley, William Baxter Ott, and H.L. Wilson. So they were all killed from Company I.
Wow.
And then Frederick Davidson of Company K, he was also from Lexington. And then Company H was also a Rockbridge unit. And then if you flip this over, it's wounded continued, it starts again, so C, D, E, F, G, H, and I, so Liberty Hall starts here. So William A. Anderson, I don't know if Byron mentioned, but his trousers, that he lost his leg, and so that was the end of his war service, and he was a trustee of this college after he was a lawyer and judge here in Lexington, but his trousers are down here in the chapel. They're not on display anymore right now. But they actually have his original pants he was wearing when the big hole in the knee and everything. But given Strickler, Calvin Utz ended up dying, I think, at Petersburg. He was wounded here, but was killed. And there's Cyrus Neal.
Paxton.
There's another H.A. Paxton who was wounded. There are a bunch of Paxtons in the unit. And then, anyway, and then down here are the totals. And then it says there are 10 more men reported wounded here. In the original report, consequently, in the haste of my imperfection of the first report of the company, by order General James F. Preston to General T.J. Jackson, commanding 1st Brigade, Virginia Volunteers. And normally this sort of thing would have an endorsement, and it might have had a second page that had some endorsements. of the officers. You know, we always wish that
Can
Jackson.
you turn that over to where it says killed at the top?
Sure, sure.
You know, I know a lady, I've been in contact with her by email, that has what looks to be an authentic ammunition report, and it was.
Really?
It's an ammunition and something else, and it is signed by E.F. Paxton.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's a real rare, I mean, I know a little bit about the collector world too, and he's a real rare, where, you know, he signed as the president of the Bank of or was it Bank of Rockbridge? He signed all the bank notes. So those particular notes all have E.F. Paxton. That's his most common autograph. That's the most common is to find him on those Rockbridge County notes from the large bills from the late 1850s. He signed.
That's how it's signed too, and her name is Charlene Dornick, and we've been communicating by email.
Oh, that's cool. And let me show you the map, and then we'll have to close up shop. And just, there are a couple other things. Let's see if there's anything, let's see what else, of serious significance. I think there is something else good in, no, it's not in this folder. Southern Express Company. These are all random, it's, you know, so this is the sort of thing, 1861, 64, official paper, Civil War. This is old material that was found locally, that was given to the college, but never really gotten properly cataloged. So that's how we sort of, unless you open it up and dig in, you don't know exactly what you have. Like this is actually South Carolina, 2nd South Carolina Cavalry. But the good news is we're in the process now of